Hi, this is Dr. Pragati Singh. I'm also called Grace in the community. I'm a medical doctor by qualification, and by passion, I'm really passionate about mental health and sexual health, two things which are highly taboo in the Indian community. I've been working on asexuality by myself for a long time now. When I discovered a few years back that in the lack of a community back in India, a lot of Indian asexuals were out there on global forums looking for other people like them, feeling isolated and lonely, I decided to found the community in 2014. Today, we're a well known larger group of about 800 people on our page and about 150 people in our group. We're called the Indian Aces, and apart from online activism, we also represent the asexual community at various events, at pride meetings, at pride parades, and a number of other meetings and events. Something which was not happening at all in India before that. We also conduct offline meetups within India and recently have been able to conduct a few outside of India as well. Our work has been recognized by many, and we've been covered by national level print media such as Hindustan Times, India Today, and many other digital and print media such as the Quint, DNA, the Telegraph, so on and so forth. Our most recent story, in fact, was published in DNA recently about the fundraising, this particular campaign, and the conference that I'm going to be talking about soon. I'm happy to share that I'm also a sexual health ambassador with the American Sexual Health Association, and I've won a couple of prizes and awards for the initiative back in India. Why does this cause matter? Why should anybody care for this? I realized it most strikingly when I started receiving messages from people who were now discovering that they've been asexual for their entire lives without ever having a name for it. So, how it usually goes is that while growing up, when they hit puberty and when they start getting their peers start getting all sorts of urges, they start feeling odd or weird or abnormal about not having the same kind of urges. A lot of them are left feeling confused, isolated, and outcast for not being able to relate to their peers, or vice versa. A lot of them, during their later teenage years, end up under tremendous amounts of peer pressure to be able to for not being able to behave or perform the way that their peers are with respect to their sexuality. And if they do end up having any relationships at all, they're often left feeling quite abnormal or inadequate or like they're not enough because they're not able to fulfill sexual expectations, or a lot of their partner's demands are unmet. So they end up having a lot of relationships that keep breaking up because of the same reasons over and over again. And a lot of asexuals feel like they're going to be left alone, like they're damaged goods, and that they will never find a partner. Eventually, by their later 20s, a lot of them feel pressurized into marriage and to start a family, especially in India. In a scenario like that, typically somebody in their late 20s or early 30s will get forced into an arranged marriage by their parents. So, in the best case scenario, this would lead to maybe a period of resentment from their partners, or a divorce, maybe. But in the worst case scenario, it could lead to coercion and marital rape and severe depression. And I did come across at least a couple of people who are going through these issues, and it just sent me into a sort of an overdrive. And I decided to make a matchmaking platform for everybody who could use it potentially. The response was unprecedented, and I've decided to make it into a full-fledged website, which I have been working on, and I will be working on even after this conference gets over. But the data that I collected through the survey, it highlighted some of the very important points about what asexuality is and is not. The findings help disprove some of the biggest myths about asexuality, such as with respect to it not being the same thing as PTSD and not being the same thing as low drive or low libido. So the paper has been selected for presentation at the conference, and this conference is the largest congress of sexologists that will be taking place in Prague very soon, and will probably be the best platform to present a study on asexuality and making a case for it as a genuine orientation. To be able to present a research validating asexuality like that in a hall full of sexologists and doctors and therapists and psychologists will set a precedent and at least get the ball rolling, making these professionals think a little bit longer the next time somebody presents with the kind of symptoms that asexuality usually would present with. So, through this campaign, if I'm able to make even a few people Google what asexuality is, I think that's one step forward towards generating more awareness. I have come to realize that having a sense of belonging and a sense of community is very crucial for mental well being. And I'm trying to help provide just that. The turnout we see during our meetups, for example, despite all the limited awareness, despite all the stigma associated with it, even within India, the kind of turnout that I see, I think is proof that people want to feel connected to other people, that they're keen to meet others like them and feel like that they're not alone. People are eager to share, I feel, their stories, their problems, and their lives. So far, I worked for the cause completely on my own, from my own effort, my own skills, my own energy, and my own time. None of my work is compensated for. Nobody is paying me for this research or the community development or the representation. And I consider it my contribution to the cause and my contribution to the community. In fact, I've also paid for all sorts of small and big costs that come with leading a movement like that. Small costs like printing banners or like printing something like this. Like these are small costs, but they add up. They add up. And this particular conference that I want to go to, my paper has been selected for, that I really want to not miss, is so far the biggest cost. I need a 1.5 lakh to be able to go to the conference and present my study. This includes return, flight fare, my hostel dorm bed fare for 8 nights, my daily subsistence cost, the conference registration fee, which I've already received a scholarship for. I have received more than 50% scholarship for this conference registration. The workshop fee, the poster printing charges, visa fee, ground transport costs, etc. I would not only be able to present my own study in this conference, but also learn a lot from it and be able to imbibe it in my own activism back home. Why I think this needs to be crowdfunded? Because this is not my personal project. This is not a hobby that I'm undertaking. This is not a personal travel trip for tourism or something. This is not even just my cause. This is not just my fight. This is our fight, right? This is your fight. This is everybody's community. You could be an asexual yourself, or you could just be an ally to other asexuals. You could be somebody who has academic interest in this, or you could be an LGBTQIA person who understands that this needs to be talked about. You could just be a human rights activist or just a decent person who thinks that everybody should have sexual rights, everybody should be empowered, and nobody should have to be coerced into something that they don't want to do. Remember, you don't have to be a direct beneficiary of a cause to really feel for it or to really support it. Help me help people. That's what I will ask, because I don't want to feel like I'm burning out. Just enable me to do this. I ask you not only to contribute generously to this particular campaign, but also spread this campaign far and wide, because this campaign will not only help generate funds. I am sure this is actually going to help generate a lot of awareness and a lot of sensitivity where it needs to be generated. Of course, if I get overfunded, all the extra money will go into future meetups and activities, creating a website, which is something that I've been wanting to do, but I don't have the funds for it. The rewards I'm offering are listed down there, but remember, I am extremely flexible on the rewards. So if you want something specific that you think you could get from Prague, you can let me know and I will try my level best to accommodate it. If there's any skill that I have that you think you could use, I would be more than happy to help you out with that. So uh, just be with me in this. Just do your part like I am trying to do. Thank you.